Call this meeting to order. It's Tuesday, March 3rd. City of Somerton work session. It's 6:02 p.m. We're gonna forego all formalities and go straight to roll call, and then we're gonna begin our meeting.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Marta Garcia, Councilman Miguel Villalpando, Councilman Carlos Gonzalez,
Present.
Councilman Luis Galindo,
Present.
Councilman Jesus Roldan,
Present.
Councilman Juan Castillo.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're gonna jump into the item. Several council members requested this to be on the retreat, but I felt it would probably be better to do it in a work session, just instead of deviating for the retreat.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, attendees. Jesus Meza, Parks and Recreation Director, and Martin, our Recreation Coordinator. We're here to answer any questions regarding the budget breakdowns for the activities and programs for this fiscal year in relation to our current budget and moving forward into next fiscal year. With this, we're passing along our budget, our packet of budget breakdowns for the fiscal year. This is in relation to the activities for this calendar year and, well, this fiscal year. And as I mentioned, there's a few items that we have to point out. All the leagues, this is not a business, a money-making business. We're in it for the kids, promote sports, inclusion, have something for the families to gather and fulfill their needs. And Parks and Recreation business is all for the improving the quality of life of the residents. So, but at the same time, we gotta take into consideration that times are hard and budgets are not easy to come up with. So the recommendable concept would be to not go over this much. This is what we as a Parks and Recreation management team want to safekeep the funding of the city. So it's not very recommendable to go this much, even though we don't make anything or we don't even break even, but we are going over several $1,000s in all the programs as you can see. And this is something that we've been running on the weekly reports also, but I know there's a lot of questions and we understand. For example, the soccer budget, we're going over $3,000. The T-ball, almost $4,000. Well, this is a little bit less than 2,700. The summer camp, it's something that we're proposing, but we're going to have budget for this one. We were given a grant by Arizona Communities of now $9,000, so that's going to cover basically all of the camp. That's something that we're going to do this summer, so it's going to be a nice feature. Recreational exercise activities for the events. It's going to be a good variety. So it's basically a summer camp. We're going to look into lunches for the kids, so they're going to have lunch, a variety of activities, and it's going to be a Monday through Friday program, 4 hours basically, so it's the whole morning. So that's something for the kids to do in the morning, and it's going to be very nice for them. And we're proposing new activities for next fiscal year. As you may know, there's no volleyball league for adults, so our plan is to start a co-ed league. The co-ed leagues are very popular in Somerton. Gets people active. You can go with your special one. Families can be involved. So we could do a co-ed volleyball league, which we have the budget already, the breakdown. We're also thinking about doing a basketball league for men's. We already have a boys league on the summer, so but there's no basketball league for adults. We would try it out as basically a recreational league, and we're also planning on doing a women's softball league, which we haven't had. We have a girls softball league, but not a women's. So I forwarded a budget breakdown of what we are requesting. I'm gonna update the numbers in relation to contractual, the supplies for the leagues we're requesting, and I can signal what's the additional amounts and what they're for, but at this time, I open up for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mesa.
Yep.
I think, my 8 years, the city council, we had this, breakdown of this type of work sessions. Very good that we're meeting here, and, I just want to remind council that, can give our opinion, but no means is direction. You're the director, and many times, Parks and Recreation, we think we know it all, and, it's very visible, so, let's just be, cognizant that we don't start micromanaging Parks and Rec. But again, let's, feel free to speak, your mind, and again, we're a team, we're a group, and nobody's opinion is more than the other one. We're going to open it for comments. Mayor?
I've mentioned this in the past year when the previous Parks Director was here. We all know that our community is low income to very low income. And I've mentioned, about the prices that we have. I see the comparisons that you made with Yuma, San Luis, and Somerton. Just going back and reflecting when I grew up here, coaches and teams would get their own sponsorship at least for the uniforms.
Yes.
And that could be one, my suggestion, one of I guess, an idea to bring costs down for registration, and families with multiple children are able to, sign them up for the leagues. We've heard many times where, I have to take turns with, my children. One sign up this league, and then I'll sign up the other one next league, because two is already, $90, $85. So, those small things that can make a difference to a family that wants to keep their kids active, that's just one of my suggestions.
In the past, and I just want to clarify that with the previous director, there were some comments from Parks and Rec Commission that when that was brought up, that was against city code or state statute or something, or is there something that impedes for coaches and Parks and Rec to raise funds?
No, I mean,
so to be clear, one of the reasons that we lowered some of the Parks and Rec budget, because our intent was for more focus on fundraising, and we discussed it in our retreat, not this retreat, but the previous retreat, and that was a big push that council had requested that staff put more of an effort on those fundraising. So, but Vice Mayor, that's been discussed before. So now it's clear that it's perfectly lawful to request donations.
yeah, as long as they don't go on behalf of the city, and it's for personal interest. I mean, of course, if it's going to be on their behalf and they're going to go ask for a sponsorship for uniforms, that's perfectly fine. But if they're asking $2,000, get the nicest cleats, and the kids never see a cleat, that's something else. But I mean, it's under personal time. It's used everywhere in the whole region, or this side or the other side. I mean, it's just basically sponsorships for their team.
You know what? I just wanted to know, what are some of your ideas that you have to kind of offset this? I mean, what are things that you have thought about?
Honestly, we've been running through the motions, to say it that way. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do, but the more important thing for us right now is start building a sponsorship package. That's something that I'm gonna work closely with our special events coordinator and Martin, so we include the leagues. Of course, as you know, any product that might be marketable needs to be something attractive. And a lot of the businesses, if they have a person who interested in them, they're gonna sponsor. But a lot of the businesses wanna see something in return. So if they see good numbers, profitable, they might dig into it. So what we're trying to do is try to revamp the activities, have more activity, more participation. So it's out there and the business is interested in sponsoring a league. So for example, the Tamal Festival, it's a very high interest event. So the businesses are interested in sponsoring because it's for the kids, it's a big event, thousands of people. But for example, the Pet Palooza might not be the same. So that's when you get to the revamping, the hyping up the league and putting it out there so it's a more interesting product to sell. So you have to start from there, build the foundation, of course, the sponsorship package, try and detail the programs, and of course, an idea that we have that it's being used in other cities, for example, in San Luis, they went away from the uniforms. Why? Because at the end of the day, kids want to see their own uniforms. They want something nicer, they want something more customized. And when it's something commercial, for example, we order with ProTime, the uniforms, the shorts, they're a little bit tighter. You have your Huskies, you have your Slims, you have everywhere. So that way the kids can go fundraise. It's gonna be for our uniforms. We'll promote the sponsor on the back, but right now we don't have any sponsors. We have the city logo and that's it. But at times, some of the kids, I know it's a low-income community, but if we make the community get involved with the businesses, it's going to create involvement. It's going to make the businesses get involved in the activities and sponsor the leagues for the uniforms. They're going to fit. Two, they're going to be nicer looking. They're going to be more motivated to participate and wear their colors. And at the same time, we're investing a lot of money in uniforms. And at the end of the day, we don't make anybody happy. And like, for example, in soccer, the parents didn't know the sizes of their kids. So the uniforms were wrong, but it wasn't our fault. It was the parents a lot of the parents didn't know the kids' shirt size. So when they came back.
You know what, with
Yeah.
that comment?
Yeah.
You know, my son has received his uniform.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was a whole team.
Yeah.
You know, I think I can fit 2.5 of my sons in the shirt.
Yeah.
And you know, my concern with that is, I mean, it's hard for me to fathom that parents don't know their kid's size.
Yeah.
So I'm more concerned as what process is in place to collect that data.
Yep.
You know, because somehow, I mean, if it would have been just one kid, I understand that, but I mean, in my son's case, it was a whole team.
Yep.
You know, so to me, I'd be more, what's the process that's in place? You know, because somehow there's a disconnect. Are we not informing
Yep.
the parents or whoever's registering? That's what I would be looking at.
Yeah.
And again, this is just an observation as a parent. I mean, but I don't know how the other teams are.
Yeah. Me.
What I would like to see would be the same thing happen to my daughter's team. And yeah, it's not Parks and Rec's fault, but there's ways of how do we correct this? Should we get a sample of all the sizes and have parents try them, or we have online? Now maybe they'll come in person, but
Yeah.
maybe the first practice or whatever. But yeah, instead of trying to blame Parks and Rec or trying to blame the parents, is that how can we correct? So I would like to see solutions instead of saying, oh, it's the parents, they don't know their. That's the type of stuff we want to see. You know, there's mistakes, a new staff, and it's gonna
Yeah.
happen, but
Yeah.
when issues like that happen, is how are we gonna correct, how are we gonna avoid this type of stuff that is gonna happen?
Yeah, and actually on the sizes, on rec, it has an option, because we asked for the uniforms, and you have to signal or write down the shirt size of your kid, and that's what the parents write is what we ordered, because at times it makes it difficult for us to verify each shirt size, each parent, so it's,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I understand, but you don't know, each mate
Yeah.
has a different size.
Yeah.
This is a different fit, and this one,
Yeah.
were small, and it happened for the whole team, so,
yeah,
you know, it is an issue, yeah, the parents put it there, but how can we avoid this type of issue that could happen?
And, this is part of the problem with that is manufacturers.
Yeah.
Manufacturers have different age groups, even though it might be small, medium, large,
yeah,
but it fits a certain age group. They have small, medium, and large for probably some kids that are a little bit older.
yeah,
And so I've seen it, I used to work at a sports store where you'd order a medium. Guess what? They wanted to know what age group, because they have them, small, medium, and large, let's say from, and then from 11 to 12 might be a different size, especially with uniforms, it's like that.
it's,
So my recommendation to avoid those type of problems and quit blaming everybody is
Yeah.
get samples.
yeah,
You know, if you know you guys are gonna use a particular manufacturer for those uniforms, ask them for a sample set. That's
Yeah.
probably the easiest way.
yeah. No, some-
Somebody,
Hi. Actually, we went with Proton for this season, and we do have samples. But some of the coaches, they don't call the kids, and they don't show up to practices. So when we have the samples, we can't give them to the coaches because we have to use them for other teams. So that's like I can say the reason, because some kids don't show up to practices. So when we go up there or they come, it makes it a little bit difficult to us. But we tell coaches that we have samples, but some of them they don't come or they just don't want to come.
Schedule it at the gym. They used to have them at the gym, where they would invite everybody, notify the parents, and you can't always rely on the coaches. You know, unfortunately, we're delivering this service. We can't rely on these coaches who are volunteering their time to do something that maybe we should be taking the lead on.
Yeah.
Schedule it 2-3 days, we're gonna be at the gym, we're gonna try it, then guess what? Your reasoning is validated, because, hey, you know what, I did my part. It is up to the parents to put in their effort. But you can't sit there and just dump it all over the coaches. I mean, that's not what.
Actually, sorry, we bring it to the practices. We
Practices, I'm telling you schedule it, you notify all the coaches, you notify the parents, you hand them a little flyer saying, hey, you know what, these days we're going to be doing fittings.
Okay.
We're not going to have any excuses after that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's something that we can take into consideration. I mean, that's only some options that we bring to the table. I know we want to make our activities as much as better as we can, as affordable, and I know it's a lower income community, but there's always ways. I mean, to fundraise. I mean, people I see out every weekend. I see them going and spending $20-$30 at 85350, and they can't spend $45 for a registration that's going to be for two and a half months of I mean, it's a lower income community, but we can't babysit the community either. And especially when it comes down to $45, I mean, for 2.5 months, it's a good activity with a uniform, and I mean, that's something that I think ought to consider, that we would eliminate all these situations, because either we have contractual staff. Right now we have only 2 full-time, and it's gotten a lot better, the programming, a lot less concerns and complaints, but at the end of the day, it's only 2, I mean, for all the activities. So I mean, the uniform part takes a lot of time when the coaches and parents could take care of it. I mean, that's how they do it at least, not only in San Luis, but a lot of different places. And in Yuma, of course, they do it. They charge a lot more, so they have a lot more budget to work with. But at the end of the day, they have a lot of staff members for just one activity and a lot of full-time staff members for adult sports, for youth sports, for one for basketball, one for baseball. So
who ordered the uniforms? The coaches or the,
we ordered them when we got we confirmed the sizes. We forwarded all the complete order to Pro Tem.
coaches or who these the sizes?
The parents.
The parents?
The parents and Martin and Oscar try to go to the practices and let them know, hey, we have some samples, so the kids want to try them out and all that. But of course, that's an interesting recommendation to do a fitting. But at the same time, I mean, we gave them options, and when they didn't show up, we had to do the order, because if not, it's going to be late. The uniforms are late. It's going to be the same thing as always. They're late.
Did you ensure that they went to every team's practice or just some?
We didn't go to every
So
practice.
that's, and there's different ways. If it was to every practice and if that's the process that we're gonna follow, fine.
Yeah.
But, or if we're gonna do an event, that's also fine. But, the event, I'm concerned that if we have it, if parents know before the season starts that we're gonna have this event, but if we have staff calling 300 kids, that's a lot of staff time too. So there has to be ways of, planning. There are different ways to skin the cat, so, but we gotta find an effective process. And if you're telling me that when you went to practice, I expect that you went to every team's practice,
Yeah.
just from one or two to ¿cómo se dice? Cover.
Yeah.
No jugar macho, it's like, it's,
Upon registration.
yeah, it's just like.
Cover the bunches. If they already they already have a scheduled fitting event, and they hand out the information that they register, and that's all the issue, because I agree with you. He's saying that they don't have as much staff to be able to do some of this stuff. But you know what? It's all a matter of planning. It's my opinion. Because I tell you what, I'm sure they don't have time to be calling 300 kids, like you said.
Yeah.
But if you already have this pre-planned and organized, then guess what? Here's your information. And when they register, you make it a point to let them know, hey, you know what? You got to be there for the fitting, or else there's going to be delays in the uniform.
Is there a place, or can you make changes? Because I know there's a lot of online registration. Do you have access to that to put a little note, there's going to be fittings for, I don't know, softball, this and this date. Do you have access to do that?
Yeah, we could set up something on the registration, have that message there.
That can be some form of doing it for people that register online.
But on my behalf, before I guess I get any further, I really like the fact that you gave us a breakdown of the budget.
Yeah.
Because this way I could see where there could be some possibilities of some cost savings. Now you have two full-timers, and maybe they could take care of some of these scorekeeping duties. I can tell you what, in the past, we've had field supervisors that they were there, field supervisors, but they also did something in order to alleviate some of these costs, which will bring down some of these totals that they were talking about.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is that you look into having them participate in the scorekeeping aspect.
Yeah, we could, whenever there's not too much traffic, we could alleviate some of the funding. Actually, Martin, he's an ump, so he's umped some games, but at the same time, you can't have him umping every game, so he's able to monitor the other activities and cover,
Yeah, that's why I said scorekeeping, scorekeeping is probably,
more convenient.
The extent it gives them flexibility versus actually being on the field and umping, because again, he has to be, if there's a disputed call, then he has to be probably.
Yeah, there's
the person that
the
they-
conflict, manage,
Yeah,
conflict
so
of interest.
I personally, I would stay away probably from umping and scorekeeping.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that you gave us the breakdown on some of this stuff, so we could actually look at the cost. And again, my thing is I always wanted a breakdown, so I can see where we could possibly save money.
What about everybody getting a trophy? culture of everybody gets a trophy. What happened to first and
I'm old school, so I've always liked first,
Yeah.
second, and third.
third gets a medal?
I'm not a big fan of.
We only have 2 teams or 3 teams?
Everybody gets a trophy? Third
Yeah,
place?
first, second, third. I mean, I think it really teaches our kids to be a little bit more competitive and strive for something versus, you see them, and they've said it, I mean, I've coached before.
Yeah.
They go, I'm still gonna get one next time.
Just want to say that I go back to what Vice Mayor Garcia was mentioning about the good old days,
Yeah.
where, all the, I believe baseball league was independent, and we ran it. It was done by a group of parents, and, I mean, they have issues with, because I used to watch the games, I even ref some games, but, I wish we'd go back to, back 10 years ago where there was no, I like this, that I never seen anything like this, but, I would like to see something, like 10 years ago, how is it comparing to what we have now? I don't know if we can do that or not, because most of it, some leagues were run by the parent, like Little League and even soccer, I think, at least.
We would be open to that idea or concept of doing some independent leagues if there's the interest of the support. Yep.
I know that the batting, that's, the Santa.
For me, if I may, for me, is there really, this is how do we raise the quality now?
Yeah.
Not necessarily quantity, like I told you,
Yeah.
in the retreat,
Yeah.
maybe you need to scale back and let's give the field some time to recoup. But don't be in a hurry, for me, I don't know about the rest of the council. Don't be in a hurry to cram event after event after event. Consider that you do have a staff too.
Yeah.
On that portion. I know you guys are probably gonna count on Lisa, but she needs to focus on her events.
Yeah.
But come up with a schedule, so that way you allow for the of the fields.
Yeah.
And they have sufficient time in order to be able to plan things accordingly, because I think that's, people will remember more the quality aspect than
Yeah.
anything.
Councilmember Run?
Jesus, I mean, Parks and Rec is never gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
We're always, it's always, to bring quality, to the sports and
Yeah.
events and whatever, that's, your department is the department that gives more, the PR to the city.
Yes.
Because you got events, you got sports, you got everything. We know that, we know we're not gonna be making money out of that, Sometimes we're gonna be even, sometimes we're gonna lose money, which I think as council, we're okay with that, But I think what we're trying to do is the quality of the event. When there's a closing ceremony, someone be there present, giving the trophies, giving the medals, whatever you wanna do,
Yeah.
but be there present to give something.
Yeah.
When the shirts arrive, give them, if there's something wrong, let's fix it. Whatever we need to do, if we can do it, just do it,
Yeah.
If they pay for the service, we need to provide that service. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
We charge them $30, $40, $60, $80, whatever it is, but at the end is what we provide for them.
Yep.
We said we're gonna do baseball, okay, let's do a baseball, umpire, whatever we need to do. If we do soccer, the same thing, If we're gonna do, any event that you do, but just make sure that we're charging them for a service that we're going to provide. So make sure that service, it is provided. It's not like I pay 45 and then this kid got a shirt, this kid didn't get it, this kid got it at the very end, this kid get it after the season. I think that's what, as council, we wanna see that, just the service that we need to provide. The events and what you charge, it's fine, and if you can get sponsors, go for it. We can create a liability account under the city, and that will be revolving, will be there. So that way you know how much money you have on your budget, at the same time how much money you have on your liability account, so you can use it for sports, if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's the quality that you provide to our citizens, to the kids, to the parents, whatever league you do, it's at the end what because at the end, that's what they're gonna remember. If you give trophies to the first place, medals to the second, whatever you wanna do, you do rings, which now is the thing, and the tournament, I think that, and the rules, make sure the coaches, someone's there to tell them this is right, this is wrong, not, change the rules every other game or every other week or whatever. I think consistency and the service that we provide, not only your department, city as a whole, but right now we're talking about Parks and Rec. I think that's a big one. When you do the pool, do a ceremony, let the people know, we're doing something, which, and if you want to sponsor somebody, put a banner. We're going to have a banner for you the whole season, the whole year.
Yeah.
If you only, what is it, $150 for 10 shirts,
Yeah.
$200 for 15 shirts, and you get your bag, and they're dry fit.
Yeah.
Because they charge them like $12, and that's printed already, and they're
Yeah.
dry fit,
Yeah.
which is something better than what we have right now.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that, if you have two people in house, they can help you out.
Yeah.
Go meet with them before even the season starts, so you can get prices and you know exactly, and if you know if you're gonna go with that vendor, they get sizes. And,
Yeah.
I think what we're trying to get is before you start a sport or everything that you're doing, be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Just have different options that you can, I think that's what we want, just the quality that you give to the, that's the service that you're giving to the citizens. That's what that's what my opinion.
Yeah, and, that's the most important thing, the quality, because if we see the breakdown, $11,000 for quality of life, and we're recovering and only, having the expense, the net expense, 11,000 is not, and we had quality programs. Remember there was a softball league that I was even embarrassed to go to the park because the parents see me and they would start complaining about it. And the big thing is consistency. Just if we establish some guidelines at the beginning, so be it. If there's deadlines, even if the mayor's son didn't get to sign up, don't sign them up. That's something, and it happened. And I'm not going to call anybody out, but it was allowed in one of the leagues maybe a year ago to sign up after the fact, and that's not Somerton. Hey, let's set some guidelines. Doesn't matter if the councilman's nephew couldn't get in. Let's follow our own guidelines, and I can live with that instead of having people say, how come this person was able? That's something that shouldn't be happening. And again, just changing the rules along that's always so. For coordinators, when you meet with coaches and you have a set of rules, and so be it. And when a lot of times with Somerton, you hear it. Oh, we know at Somerton they're going to start late. Let's try to run a more professional league and try to be consistent.
And you know what, this was one of the things that we're doing better that we didn't do before. Before the league was run privately. When they go to All-Stars, the uniforms, the kids basically have to pay for them unless they get a sponsor. This is back, say 4 or 5, 6 years ago. But now, the city took over. Now, the uniform says City of Somerton logo, and even though, win or lose, whatever happens, but they're representing, and I even saw the coordinator go. The reason is because I was coaching at the same time, different divisions, 7, 8, I was umpiring, and I saw the coordinator there. Every single game he was there, cheering for the kids and, waters and Gatorades. That talks about our community, who we are. And you don't see that in any other, at least in the city of Yuma, I don't see any coordinators giving or cheering or at least have a shirt that, So I think, competitive wise, people used to be afraid of playing against Somerton, one used to remember, because we're competitive, we used to have, this is the rules, this is what we're paying, we got kids coming to Somerton to play.
Yeah.
And that's what we want that, and to know for what we have, competitiveness and quality and everything. I think, at the end, employees that, you're the head of but they have to be on the same page as you, because if they're not, then then at the end, you're gonna hear it from Ian, well, Ian is gonna hear from us, and then you're gonna hear, but I mean, I think what we want is basically this, and just, Parks and Recreation, provide the sports, the quality, and I'm a Parks and Recreation guy. I'm support to the sports, whatever you wanna do, maybe what Leopoldo said, because hey, take a little bit of what sports you can do and you cannot do. I know someone's trying to do a private league of soccer. Hey, maybe, try it for a year, see if they can do it, and if they can do it, maybe they can take over that. Just
Yeah.
options that you can do, and I think that's gonna alleviate also now that you have 2 employees, or you're gonna become, I think you're gonna lose some hitter later on.
Yeah. So I know the community, they're not very fun with cutting down in seasons when they're usually playing twice a year. And I know Councilmember Castillo can attest for that. We cut down a season. I mean, it would improve the quality, of course, if we focus on one instead of 2, but there.
And that's why I said this, I don't agree with Mr. Villalpando cutting leagues, but that's why we're a group, if you ask me, I'd rather have the grass right now, it's well maintained, and I would much rather have options for the residents, so that's why, I said there's no direction, just food for thought, and again, we're a group, we have difference of opinions, we're at different points in our kids' life, and my kids right now playing rec, and I kind of enjoy it, and I like the community. You go, and any evening in the park is full, but then again, there's also considerations that, so, there's ways of, different philosophies, and this is why your job is so fun.
No, and it is a good philosophy. I mean, it would improve the quality. I mean, but it's going to come down with complaints, concerns from the public, and they're used to twice a year. We scale back to 1, and so they're going to think we're going backwards. That's the mindset of the people.
But also, right, the employees are just running around.
Yeah.
Have a league.
Yeah, and then going back to the comment of Mr. Councilmember Gonzalez, that's something that would be manageable, doing one independent league, for example. Let's say we bring back the good old days of having a commission or a board run a league. We could run one league and the board could run another.
But even with the good old days, we like to take the good old days, but we've always had issues.
No, that's always been the same.
When Councilman O'Donnell was Parks and Recreation, we had people here coming. So it's a tough job, and I think we understand, and we forget many times how tough it is. And like I said, people think they know Parks and Rec because they see it, and there's always going to be issues and very visible. But the thing you want to see is improvement. But there's always been issues in Parks and Rec. Back then when I was growing up, there was only one a baseball league. That's how we played. That was the only sport offered. There was no soccer. So and but there was one season. That was it. So then again, you could see it. In gangs, crime, and everything. We're a smaller community. So if we can keep the community engaged, that to me is important.
I'm going to add to looking at earlier in the year, last year, I requested a schedule of the activities throughout the year, and I actually have this in front of my refrigerator, and I look at it, and it just says here, youth soccer January to March. We haven't even played our first soccer game, so I think it's important for you to have a schedule and kind of. And I think that'll bring that consistency that Councilman Rodan, talked about, and I mean, some of the comments that I've heard, is, we're already registering for baseball when we haven't even played a soccer game, just some of those comments, right? Also, you mentioned some of the activities they want to bring, like co-ed volleyball. We also had co-ed softball here, and I think with that, I mean, for adults, there's no uniform cost or just the team registration. So I mean, I know it's not about making the money, but that's an additional sport that the city could offer. And I think something that would be important is that at the end of the closing ceremonies, have we ever had a survey you know, we have our parents there, you know, because I understand most of our residents, they're, when something goes back, they're gonna voice their opinion. But it might also be a good idea to have a survey out, so for us to see the positive that's happening also.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the survey, you know, to the parents, when the ones that go, I mean, you have your staff, you know, they could go and, hey, can you please fill this out? That way so that we can actually get some feedback from these parents, and it doesn't just rely on hearsay.
Yeah.
You know, because they usually, I mean, they come up to me and they start telling me,
Yeah.
and, you know, and I usually say, hey, you have 5 minutes of the, you have, you know, a call to the public, you can come and let us know, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't want it to, I'd rather them, you know, voice it. And if there's a survey, I mean, we can collect data like that, because how can we measure that customer service if we just base it on hearsay?
We had one a year ago and everything was great, so we could have like an independent surveyor do it.
But the
Or
headline
we
was
could
the
have
same.
it online, everything was like great. We had all kinds of complaints, but hey, everything is.
Last year?
Yeah.
The headlining was the same.
I'm just sitting here hearing this. I've been here in council for the last 12 years. And let me tell you, you're not the first one that will hear complaints about Parks and Recs. It's always been the same. And I'm agreeing and not agreeing with what they're saying, the good old days. It's always good old days, maybe it was different, but this is your day, this is your time. What can you bring to the table? What changes can you make? And I do understand that maybe in the community, I'm one of those believers that we should not be vaguely the community, because like you said, they go spend $30, $40 at 85350 and 3-4 beers and a pizza, and that's it. I do believe that, and as a parent, I always look at myself as a parent, I'm gonna sacrifice, what can I do? I know I like Starbucks, I like this, I'm gonna stop drinking this so I can put my kids. I always put my kids first. And I also think that, you know, you're hearing this, do this, just take the good things. And the things that you think it won't work, that you have to put it in action, they don't work, put it aside and put the new things. Don't feel that we're attacking you or anybody's attacking you. It's just information for you. But those good old days were back then. Now, like Mayor said, this is your time. This is your day. So what are you bringing to the table? What's the difference? So I can say back in the days, they used to be sponsored, snack bar. I don't know what can we do, or like Councilman Castillo was saying. We have softball, kickball, I guess, over the summer. Adults, they like to play. I bet they rather, I don't know how much you charge per team. I don't know, I've never been.
About $350.
$350, maybe a little bit more, you know, maybe we can, because we don't put money back into them, because we don't put uniforms or nothing. That's the time maybe we can make a little bit to offset what we're losing. And snack bar, I don't know what you guys do or who's running the snack bar. Maybe it's before it used to be this family and they used to give so much to the city back. Maybe it's time for us to hire one person and just to get it back to the city. So maybe we can give trophies to the kids or something. But this is your time, not the old days, not the good old days.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, they were not that good either back in the days. So it's your time, and we would like, I would like to see what can you bring to the table then. And yet, there's some families I testify, there's some families that maybe they need that assistance, but not 99% of the families, they don't.
No, I mean, I appreciate all the comments and that they're valid points, and we're gonna take all of them into consideration. And like the surveys, that's something that we are planning on integrating, and slowly but surely help complement the lease. I mean, it comes down to what do we want to offer to the community. We all want the best. I mean, I'm not here from Somerton, but Somerton is my priority, is my job, and it's very important to me, not San Luis or Yuma or San Luis, Mexico, and just take the best from everywhere and try to do the best we can. But I mean, that's what we're seeing, the numbers, and the programming is going to take some time to take shape like anything else. I mean, but what Mr. Gonzalez said, I mean, there used to be some committees or boards that used to run some of the leagues. That's not a bad idea. For example, soccer, they're taking over the Tower League. If they could take over our rec league and just do the soccer, that would be a big help. And we could assist with the setups, the programming, and some of the funding maybe. But I mean, we do need a lot of help. Any committee that could be formed just in the baseball side or soccer side, which are the bigger sports, would be of great benefit. And of course, be affiliated to Cal Ripken or Babe Ruth and all those associations. And that way we could start doing new activities and go away just from soccer, baseball, which are the usual. Right now we have baseball, soccer, T-ball is basically baseball and softball. And so for the kids, they do need to start seeing a little bit more variety. For example, track and field and karate, which are very commercial activities that we still don't offer to the community, which are worldwide popular sports. And not only soccer and baseball. So that's something that slowly but surely I want to start inputting into our system of services. So I don't know I mean, this is only comparisons. I mean, it's different cities, different budgets. I mean, but I mean, in terms of income, for example, San Luis, Arizona is very comparable to Somerton. I mean, the incomes, and they went away from the uniforms because it's a big headache. You're never gonna make people happy at the end of the day. Nonetheless, if we do we're probably gonna integrate. That's a very good recommendation from Councilmember Villalpando, the fittings. That's something that we did forget to do in its entirety. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're gonna send them wrong. They're not gonna like the color. They're not gonna like how it looks. So might as well have them do it and charge less. It's gonna be less of an expense, and they could go get sponsors. That's more practical, and at the same time, if it comes out wrong, it's on them, and it's gonna be to their taste. I mean, and the fees are gonna be able to go down.
Well,
So
and I think as a recommendation, just having
Yeah.
a systematic approach to
Yeah.
all events, to
Yeah.
all recreational activities will be a big plus. I mean,
Yeah.
because if you have it down, I mean, you'll have your organization, you'll know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it's really looking down at the process, your procedures,
Yeah.
see what works, what didn't work, and then, because you're not gonna have a perfect system
Yeah.
from the get-go. You're gonna improve it as you go, but,
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah, and if you see, San Luis is $15 less than us, but that's the uniform. So
That's
if
a
you ask me as a
uniform.
parent, I'd rather pay the $15 than be running around
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting, so, but then again, you have different resources to pull.
Yeah.
You got the Parks and Rec Commission that you can go through there, discuss it, but, you ask me as a parent, but right now, I think our funding for Parks and Rec, has been the highest that we've had, forever here. So you have the resources, you have a full staff,
Yeah.
and I have noticed an improvement at
Yeah.
least. And this report, like I said, is great. Even the comparison, we were always looking at that, and I requested something like this for our benefits, and I haven't gotten it in a year. So thank you for doing that, giving us this information. We've never had it, and that's something that we requested for years, even for special events, and so hopefully you keep it going with this type of reporting.
Yeah, and you're gonna see, we did make some minor revisions to our schedule, but the promotional material is ready. We're gonna start taking it to schools and stuff like that. Doesn't only have the activities, it also has the events on the other side, which some of the events only have the month, but I mean, the other bigger events, of course, they're confirmed, like 4th of July, and so that's something that we're gonna take into an advantage, yeah.
I was just sharing this with Councilman Villalpando, like if I were to be coaching soccer,
Yeah.
the $25 that we charge, that covers what, the uniform?
For soccer? Yeah, cover the uniform
I was gonna
registration.
say, what happens if I say, I come to you and say, you know what, I'm gonna have a soccer team, ages 8 to 9 or 10 to 12, what have you. I wanna find my own sponsor, I wanna get my new uniforms. The kids still gotta pay those $25?
Yeah, because it's included, because that's something that we are pushing, the concept of having unilateral, universal uniforms, the same look, because then again, it goes down to, oh, the uniforms from that team are nicer. The kids feel a little bit,
It is true, but I was, like I said.
No, no,
It
no.
would be nice because let's get it for the coordinator, for.
it is, that's something that,
It's have to be like, I wish every coach will probably think, the same way.
I think that's more for a travel team,
yeah,
because when they register, they don't know what team they're gonna be.
so,
When you're bringing a whole team, then
Yeah.
you know what age you're bringing.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna be bringing travel teams, then make a league that is only travel teams. That
Yeah.
way it's fair. The red teams, they do the travel.
yeah, because all the kids want nice uniforms, but that's something that is good about having uniforms, because they all look the same, so, I mean, kids are gonna find ways to have their swag, and have nicer cleats, have a headband or whatever, but I mean, at least the uniforms are all the same.
Thank you, Mr. Mesa. Comments?
No, I think just, keep up, man, there's always gonna be people complaining but usually the people that complain, sometimes they don't give any suggestions or they don't help at all.
Yeah.
So, you have two people, he's very, knowledgeable in baseball and softball and other sports, so.
Yeah.
Use some wisely, man, you got, a good team, you have experience working on this environment
Yeah.
and this, events and all that, so
Yeah.
I think, you're on the right track, just, again, just, fixes here and there, and then you'll be.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
6:53.
Yeah, well, just so you guys know, the Josefina Walkathon is not a special event, so if you see it on here, quite honestly, I believe the last coordinator just told them it wasn't
Oh,
a
okay.
city event, so, I mean, we've sponsored
We-
with minimal amount, but it's not a city event.
Yeah, because it was on the other card, so
Are they
it's,
sponsor uniforms to the kids?
isn't it a co-sponsor city event, like the Tamal Festival and the Corn Festival?
It's not a city event either.
No,
It's sponsored.
yeah, co-sponsor, we just
Yeah,
have it there for the
yeah.
promotion and,
No, like I said, we just passed a resolution
Yeah.
and there's certain documentation that needs to be submitted.
okay.
So do you have the dates for the family fun, right? It's in April, but do you have the dates yet?
No, we're looking into that, so we don't have an exact date and then it's changed, so some of them are to be confirmed, so that way, just have it on the loop, oh, it's gonna be in April, or
6:55 means adjourned.